Alright guys, in the last video we went ahead and created our modal, which has the form to add a bookmark. We also have our validation in the store function, which is where the form is submitting to. Now we have to make it so that it gets saved in the database. Now we want to use the bookmark model, so we're going to have to bring that in up here. We'll say use app / bookmark. And then down here, let's go under the validation, and we're going to create our bookmark. Whoops. So let's create a variable bookmark and set that to new bookmark. Okay, and then we're going to add our fields. So we want our name, and that's coming from the form, which we can get from the request object, and then input, and then whatever the name, in this case it's name. Alright, and then I'm just going to copy this and paste that in a couple more times. This one will be the URL. This one will be the description. Okay, and we also want the user ID. Okay, so let's say user ID, and this isn't something that's going to be in the form. This is coming from the authentication. So to get this, we can actually just do auth user user, which is a function, and then ID, which is a property, and that should get the ID of the logged in user. Alright, then once that's done, we just want to call bookmark save, which should save it to the database, and then we want to redirect, let's say redirect to /home, and let's send a message with it. So we'll say with success, and let's say bookmark added. Alright, let's save that and let's see if this works. So let's reload, click on add bookmark, and in here let's say Google URL, we'll say http www.google.com, and in here we'll say great website search engine, and let's say submit. Alright, we get bookmark added. Now let's check the database. So we're going to go to pgadmin, which I don't have open anymore. Okay, so that's loading up. And we're going to go over to servers, Postgres, okay, databases, Marks Manager, and let's go down to schemas, public, and tables. And then let's take a look at bookmarks. We're going to go and view data, view all rows, and then that should fetch the bookmarks for us. Okay, and you can see we have one. It has an ID, a user ID, a name, URL, description, and then it has the timestamps. Alright, so we know that our insert, our form, is working. Now we want to pull these out and put them in here, okay, on the page. But let's add one more. We'll say Twitter. Say great social network. Alright, and then if we go over here and click the little lightning bolt, it should update, and you can see we have Twitter. Alright, so what we're going to do now is go over to, let's see, our index in the bookmarks controller, and we want to fetch the bookmarks. So let's go and create a variable, and we're going to set this to the model, so bookmark, and then I want to put a where clause in here because we only want the bookmarks that that this user entered. Alright, so in here we'll say where user ID, and then we'll put in auth user ID, and that'll give us the current logged in user, and then we just need to add on to this get. Okay, so that'll get the bookmarks for this user. Then we're just going to go down here and say with bookmarks and our bookmarks variable. Okay, that's going to send it into the home view. So let's go to the home view now, and we want to loop through all of the bookmarks. All right, so let's see. We're going to go under the button, and then let's put in an HR tag here, and then we'll put in H3. We'll say bookmarks, or let's say my bookmarks. Okay, and then I'm going to put a UL with a class of list group, which is a bootstrap class. And here let's put our for each loop, because remember we need to loop through the bookmarks. We'll say bookmarks as bookmark. Okay, and then be sure to end that. Alright, now in here, just to test things out, let's put an li. Alright, and then we'll just put in bookmark name. Save that. Let's go over here and reload. And there we go. You can see it's pulling those out of the database. So let's create another user. I just want to make sure that we can only see our own bookmarks. And we only have one user, so there's no way to test. So let's register a new one. So this will be John Doe. Username, we'll just say John. And register. Okay, and now you can see that we don't have any bookmarks, which is what we want. So let's add one. We'll just say LinkedIn. LinkedIn.com, and then we'll just say business social network. Okay, so there it is. Let's log out, and let's log back in as Brad. And we can't see LinkedIn, which is what we want. We can only see the ones that we created. Good. So now let's work on the looks of this. So go down here and let's add to the li class of list group item. And we're going to have a delete button for each one that I want to float to the right. So we're going to do a little bit of styling here. Let's put in a clear fix. Yeah, let's add that so that it clears out. And let's see, we're going to wrap a link around this because we want to be able to click on it and go to it. So we can, in here, we can say bookmark URL, and let's also put a target so that we don't leave our application. So we'll say target blank. And let's see, I'm also going to add a style tag here. And what I want to do is position it. We'll say position absolute. And then let's say top 30% because I want it to be in the middle. Alright, and then let's see, I'm going to put the description of the bookmark and a label. So right after the bookmark name, let's put in a span, and let's give this a class of label. Alright, and then we'll do label default, which will make it gray. Okay, close the span tag, and then inside the span we're going to put the description, which we can get with bookmark description. Alright, and then for the button, for the delete button, we're going to go after the A tag. Let's actually go on a new line. And we're going to put in another span and give this a class. Let's give it a class of pull right. And also give it a class of button group. Okay, and then inside here, we're going to put a button. And let's see. You know what? We don't need to add the attributes and stuff yet. So let's just put in delete. And let's see. We also want to give it a class. Let's say class BTN danger, since it's a delete button. And what else? Let's put an icon. So inside the button, right here, we're going to put span class spam. Okay, spam class, and then let's say glyph icon, and then glyph icon dash remove. And that should do it. Let's save it, and let's go back and reload, and there we go. Cool. Now, the reason we're not seeing the glyph icon here, we actually need to compile our assets, okay? And we do that. We've done this in past projects. We first need to run npm install, and that'll set up all of our node packages and so on. And that's going to include Bootstrap Sass. All right, so what we're doing is taking that Sass, which is just a CSS precompiler, and then we're going to run npm run dev, and that's going to compile everything into our assets folder. All right, the public assets folder. It's going to take everything in this resources assets and put it into public, and put it in here so that it can be accessed, and we'll then see the icon. All right, well, at least that's what I expect to happen. All right, so now that that's done, let's just do npm run dev. That should compile everything, all of our front-end assets. You see it's taking the SCSS files and compiling them. All right, let's go over here and reload, and now you can see we have the icon. All right, everything's compiled and Laravel mix was run. So now we can add bookmarks, we can see them. What I want to do next is add the ability to remove them. Now we're going to do this a little different. Instead of creating a form, sending it as a post request with a hidden field like we've been doing, I'm going to show you how we can use Ajax. So we're going to use jQuery and actually scratch that. We're not going to use jQuery. We're going to use something called Axios. So let's see, Axios npm. And Axios is a client. It's an HTTP client. Okay, so we can make XML HTTP requests, which is basically Ajax, an Ajax request from the browser. So we're going to install that, and we can easily make requests just like this. Okay, we're going to do axios.delete or post get whatever type of request you want to make. All right, so that's what we'll be getting into next.